Okay, so here's another one to make you laugh. I hope this will make you laugh. I'm hoping other people will laugh as well, because it made a lot of people laugh. And it didn't make me laugh at all. I was in the hospital, and I was there for about a month. And I couldn't stop barfing. I had barfage for uh, over 7 days. Yeah, 7 days solid barfage. They tried every single thing that they could to stop my barfage. It just didn't stop. I had this ugly looking greenish color about me, and then some other colors mixed in, and then I started puffing up like a blowfish. I'll put these on so it's not such a strain in my head. Oh, my eyeballs. Um, that's how I feel. And so one day, one of the nurses was so wonderful. She said to my birth mother, why don't you take her out and get her some air? That'd probably be good. The woman next to me wasn't doing so well. The woman in, sort of kitty like this wasn't doing so well. And the woman in front of me wasn't doing so well. So they said, why don't you take her to get some air? And because of gastroparesis, and now what we know to be as well as pseudointestinal blockage, as well as, there's a hell of a lot more. My whole digestive system is just a mess, a total mess. And it was trapping air, and my intestines were swelling hugely, so I couldn't breathe and everything. So to get the gas out, because I don't know if anybody's ever had gas pains, but they are wicked, and they hurt so bad. So, alrighty, got into a wheelchair, and my birth mother was banging into everything because she had no idea how to drive a wheelchair. Literally, even people. And the nurse said probably the bumpity bumps would help release some of the gas. Wonderful. So it was a beautiful fall day, and the sun was so nice and warm. And this was after my brother had passed, and I had done all the arrangements for him. And that's another story. But we went out, and she took me all around the hospital. And then I said to her, I think that's enough. I think I need to go back now. And she said, okay. So she took me back. And we went down this hill, because they were doing construction at this hospital, building on a new wing for cancer. Yes! And as we were going down the hill, there was a lot of bumpity bump. And I just felt this, oh my God, this gut rumbling, belly rumbling, everything was rumbling so loud. And she said, oh. And I was like, oh God, I don't feel so good. And we get to the bottom of the slope and finished with the bump. And so I did the one cheek sneak. There was a car parked, and I thought it was parked. And I did the one cheek sneak to let out some air. And I did. And it was the longest gas I've ever had. And unbeknownst to me, there was somebody sitting in that car with the window down. And my mother was laughing her head off. And I went, oh my God. And I must have been, maybe an arm's length of the car and of him. And he was looking at me because as I was letting out the gas doing the one cheek sneak, I was looking at the person. And my face was like, oh. And he's looking at me with this, disgust in his eyes. And I'm like, oh. And I couldn't stop it. I just couldn't stop it. It just kept going. It kept flowing out of me. And she's laughing. She's laughing her ass off. And I'm like, oh my God, how could you do this to me? I'm so embarrassed. And he's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh God, this is like really embarrassing. Could you get me out of here now, please? Could you move? And she's laughing and she's not moving. I'm like, could you get me out of here, please? Like now would be good. Now, like right now. So she is laughing as she's taking me away, and I'm apologizing to this guy. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he's like, and that's all he did. He didn't say anything else. He just looked at me. I said, thanks. Really appreciate that. So that wasn't the end of our little fun excursion. Then she took me over some more bumps. Thought it would help more. Get more of this out of me. Because it was helping. Well, she bangs into the elevator, side wall, and bangs into it again, and then finally gets me into the elevator. So, of course, it's jiggling everything around. And I'm like, how could you have done that? How could you have just parked me there and let me do that? Knowing that there was a guy sitting in his car. It was a taxi. Sitting in there, sitting in his car, like less than an arm's length from me. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him as I'm letting out this humongous amount of gas, this methane coming out of my rear end. How could you just sit there and let that happen and laugh at me all the while that this is going on? And she still was laughing. And I don't know. It was funny to me. She said, and I'm like, oh boy, I've really got to get her back for this. So again, getting out of the elevator. Before that, bump, 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 bump. And what happens? Another wave of gas just boom, out of me. As the elevator doors are opening and people are waiting to get on, what happens? Yeah. This humongous, again, explosion from my butt with a large amount of gas exploding from it. And these people are standing there looking at me. Oh God, thinking, we've got to get onto that elevator. And they're all looking at me because they can't get past me. They've got to get past me to get into the elevator. And they have to sort of make a way to let me through. And she's laughing so hard. Just laughing so hard. And I am mortified. And I'm looking at everybody and I'm sorry. But, and she's like, shit happens? And I'm like, it's not helping. It's not helping. No. And she's laughing all the way down the hall to my room. Yes. Yeah. The nurse who said, did you have a good time outside? No. And my mother pipes up and says, it worked like a charm. Boy, oh boy, did it work. And then she says, great, awesome, that's so good. And I'm looking at her and she says, oh, what's wrong? I said, yeah, it worked all right. I'm totally mortified, completely embarrassed. Yep, I don't think I'll be able to look anybody in the face anymore. But that just happened. And then, so she went ahead and told the nurse and anybody else who was standing there what happened. Because everybody wanted to know, of course. I said, can we just roll me into my room, please, so I can get back into bed? Can we just do that? I don't want any more of this happening. Please just roll me into my room. Please, I just want to go to bed. Okay, I've had enough. I've had enough for today right now. Thank you. So yes, I became the laughing stock, the tooting stock of that hospital floor. Thank you. Thank you to my birth mother. Thank you. And thank you to that beautiful nurse who suggested I go on a wheelchair ride and go over bumpity bumps to get all of that wonderful gas out of me. Because it did work. So there. I hope somebody's laughing at this, because now I can. But if you were there, you would have needed your pee-pee pants, because you would have laughed very hard, and you would have had the look on your face like, thank God. Thank God. That's all I have to say is thank God it wasn't odoriferous. Thank God. That's all I have to say. It was just extremely loud and extremely long. Like, long. And long. See ya. Like people say, I wouldn't want to be ya. Well, nobody wanted to be me. So, peace out. Happy Sunday.